Well, personally for me, in 2011, this is where my first All-Star game, was, and where I participated for the first time. So this will always be special for me. I was born right down the street in Santa Monica, St. John's Hospital. But just taking in the festivities, this is all for the fans. I mean, you see us here at practice, and you see us, at all the events, and that's what it's for. It's amazing where the game has come from, even from my first year here in 2011. So it's a great host city. Los Angeles is an unbelievable place, and I think it's amazing to see where everybody's come from to enjoy this weekend. LA basketball, how would I describe it? I mean, I always think about Showtime Lakers when I think of LA basketball first and foremost. I mean, I remember growing up, my dad would pop in all the VHS tapes, whether it was ones he recorded or, the very vintage games of them going up against the Boston Celtics and, all those premier teams from that era. So that's what makes me think of LA basketball, and that transcends the hardwood. It could be on the blacktop or anywhere.
How's your friendship with him? What would you advise for him for his future NBA career? Also, you've been in Turkey 2010, won a gold medal in the World Championship. How was that experience?
2010 was an amazing experience. I've had a number of conversations with Jetty about that, and I love him. I love the way he plays. He's a great kid. He plays extremely hard, which I love. Keep telling him it's not sustainable. I didn't tell him that, but he loves the game. You can tell he loves working with guys like Braun, guys that have been in the league for a number of years, and we have a pretty savvy veteran team who loves having a young kid that they can work with. It's really a breath of fresh air to have a young kid like that. We haven't seen that in too much in years past where we've had rookies, but Jetty's been our lone rookie this year with a bunch of guys that. Is Z considered a rookie? Yeah, Z's in there too. So those two guys I've been having a number of conversations with, and we all share, I shouldn't say the same agent, but we're with the same agency, and it's been fun to get to know those guys.
A word about the new addition of players, you and LeBron around. How do you see that getting along, adjusting, coming together?
It's been a small sample size so far, but just getting some new energy into the locker room and seeing how those guys play out there has been great. I mean, George Hill has stepped into the starting lineup right away, been super solid for us. Rodney Hood gives us a lefty with a lot of length, kind of has that quiet confidence about him. Larry Nance is double threat every night as a guy with a number of teams playing smaller basketball or positionless basketball in the league. He's a guy that can switch on to multiple positions. And Jordan Clarkson, he's a selfish player and kind of has that swagger about him where he doesn't care if he starts, comes off the bench. He can go out there and give you 20 points and help our bench. I believe in our first two games with those guys, we scored over 50 off the bench in both games against two very good teams. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens because we feel like if we get a couple months under our belt playing together, we could be tough. Say, did need change? Yeah, I think, and that was pretty apparent. Just that it might have been a bad thing to get some some fresh faces in there, and guys from situations where they really wanted to win. I think first and foremost, I mean, seeing those guys in Atlanta, they didn't play, but they got there right after the trade, and they just said we want to win, and from. You can tell when somebody says it, you can tell when somebody means it. And with those four guys coming in, they really meant it, and it felt good to have that there. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, he's a guy that practices a lot of empathy too. He's been through a number of things. As I know you've spoken at length with Channing about not only his depression, but what stems from. I mean, it comes a lot from his parents, and him having a really tough year last year. So that's all kind of surfaced. But he's been a guy that has been, I know I talked to you in Cleveland about it, but just the consummate pro, a guy that you can really go to with anything. And for me, having a locker right next to me and being next to him on the bus, he's always been that sounding board for me. And almost like a little bit different than a James Jones because he's so silly, but cut from a very similar cloth. Just in the NBA?
Well, that's all I care about right now.
right, okay. Fair enough.
30% of the entire population has either anxiety or depression.
Right.
I mean, none of us can possibly really understand this therapist. That's not me, all this stuff. How do you de-stigmatize?
Well, actually, I live by a great quote, and it's only by admitting who we are do we get what we want. And Channing knows who he is. I think that has only helped him know who he is, and he's been able to, whether it's been playing 35 minutes or playing 5 minutes, not playing at all, being a locker room guy, he's found a way to be relevant. He's found a way to make a difference. But in order to get rid of that stigma, I think it's not a thing that should be taboo or not talked about. You should allow it to surface, and I think that's part of when you watch. Or I think about my dad, or coming from that generation.
Around shooting
they don't talk
jumpers,
about anything.
and so
you hold it
there's
in.
a different dynamic to that.
Some of the people that have,
once you get,
never talk about basketball, but have gone to war or been through certain things. It's tough because there's traumatic incidents, and you have PTSD for incidents, and with us there's so much stress, or you go through, say, a horrific injury and have to come back from that. There's a lot there, and I think you have to let some of that stuff bleed out in order to fully recover from it.
Does it get more services for you built in if you had?
They do. They do.
Have you ever used it?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe on the lighter side, do you have a favorite emoji?
That's a flexing emoji.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you had to pass to one person for the last shot among the three-point contestants, who would you pass it to? Down 3.
I gotta make sure I say the right thing here. So who's that? No. Oh, probably I'm gonna go with my childhood friend Klay Thompson. Yeah.
Good bet. Safe bet.
Yeah, safe bet. Sorry, say it again.
What was your reaction to the story about the story that said there was friction between Dwayne Wade and Tyronn Lue?
I mean, if there was a lot of friction, I didn't see it. I know that guys were pissed that we were losing during the time that that had happened. I think it was our first or our last road trip before the new year, and I know a lot of guys were upset with the way things were going. But I felt like when we were winning and we were rolling, you always see it. This is my 4th year in Cleveland. Winning cures all. So I think there was a number of guys that, used Ty Lue, as I mentioned the word sounding board earlier when I mentioned Channing, used him as a sounding board and wanted to bounce ideas off him, and D. Wade happened to be one of those guys.
Kevin, as a superstar with such a big platform, what responsibility do you think athletes have when it comes to speaking out on social issues?
I think just saying, you talk about the having a footprint and having such a big social media platform and impact like this guy here to my left. He can really make change, and he can really make a difference because he's so influential. I think that transcends sport. So I think when you look at being able to make a change, athletes absolutely do have a voice, and we don't want to be looked at as just that.
How much do you talk about in the locker room in terms of politics?
It depends on the subject, but I think guys are athletes, and at least guys that I've been around are pretty smart and becoming well aware of a number of things that are going on around the world, and I think now is the time to really focus on that and try to make a change if you're able to do so.
Kevin, have you guys won the title? You did this Stone Cold shirt celebration and belt, and LeBron had the Undertaker shirt and everything. Who's the biggest pro wrestling fan of the cast?
I'd probably say me. But I was I wouldn't say I was, biased or specific towards any one guy, but, Stone Cold was my guy. Braun as well, Swish. Channing was a big big wrestling guy, but that was just in 2016. That was a big thing that during that playoff run we wanted to be a part of our team, and that was kind of part of our identity was that.
Kevin Rousey and Braun going into WWE, is that a potential career for you?
No. No, I would love to go to an event, maybe a Raw where they bring back some of the icons, but no, I couldn't see that for me.
Hey, Mr. Love, how are you? How you doing?
What's going on, my man? Good to see you again.
What are 3 things that Kevin love the most?
3 things that I love the most. I love wine, well, basketball, wine, and should I make a plug like Banana Republic? Should I say LeBron?
No women? No women?
Oh, I got a girlfriend. I love women. Yeah, I have good women around, great women around me.
That's good. Speaking of LeBron, can you give this necklace to LeBron?
What's that? Is that Broken Heart?
Yeah, it's a friendship necklace.
Oh, it's a friendship necklace from
I
you?
want to keep the other half. Yeah, he never talked to me, so I want you to give it to him
Okay.
so we can become friends.
Best friends?
Yes,
And then, like, if you guys ever do talk, you just put them together, and it's all good.
it's all good.
It says best friends.
That will be all love.
Are these real diamonds?
Yes. From Mexico.
From Mexico.
Yeah. Forever 21.
Real diamonds, fake gold.
Can I have a hug?
Can you have a hug?
Yeah.
I don't think you can get over that barricade there.
I want to feel the love.
You want to feel the love, man? Come on, give me a hug.
Oh my God, I can feel the love.
That's a beautiful
Thank you,
thing.
Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Welcome back home, Kevin. Good to see you.
Hey,
man. Go
what's
Bruins.
going on?
Go
Good to see you.
Bruins.
Yes,
Always
sir.
a pleasure.
Going to the game tonight.
Absolutely. Kevin, talk about your involvement when the NBA Cares came out and talked with the community. Talk about how important that was to get out there and see the people.
Well, that's another thing that this weekend is so great in making their impact and their footprint on the community. I worked with a non-for-profit Baby to Baby yesterday, which was great. I saw Karl Anthony Towns. A number of players from both Team LeBron and Team Steph were there getting baby supplies to low-income housing, and it was an amazing experience every time we get to do those type of events. And the NBA Cares events are always something that we look forward to as NBA players and the NBA community.
Based on this platform for next year for the All-Star game, can you envision how that will grow even more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the game continues to grow. The viewership continues to grow. Kids that are playing this sport love it so much. So just to see, the fans, the community, everybody coming together for this weekend, it's become very special.
What about USA basketball and your immediate future coming up for the participation?
Yeah, well, I think this weekend, there'll be a weekend or a few days in late July where we'll all get together in Vegas, and USA basketball is near and dear to my heart. I've been playing with USA basketball since I was 18 years old, and so I'm going on almost 12 years now. So it's been a lot of fun with. I was with Coach K, Jerry Colangelo, Sean Ford. It's a family for me.
Kevin, what would a second championship mean to you?
Second championship, it would be, listen, anytime you have a chance to compete for an NBA title and make it to the finals, and you see that Larry O'Brien trophy, it's very special. So 2016 was, I would say, the best year of my life. I know it wasn't a great year for the country, but it was it was a hell of a year for us in the city of Cleveland, state of Ohio, and Cavalier fans. So I think it'd be unbelievable to have a chance to compete, but we have a lot of work to do.
Kevin, what's your go-to music?
I'm sorry, what?
Funny how fast the way already changed. Like 2 weeks ago, these guys were gone. Boston was going to now it's
Right.
the other way around.
Yeah, but that's the way the season goes, and it's what's the old cliche: you can't get too high in the highs, can't get too low in the lows. But just with, you look at the media landscape around here, you look at the 24-hour news services. There's just so many stories now, and fortune and momentum can change on a dime so fast that. That's going to happen. Boston's a great team. There's a number of great teams that have gone through it. Look at Oklahoma City has unbelievable talent, well coached, and they've done, had a slow start, which, we've seen before with a team that has a big three, and, they've been able to pick up their game. And for us, I feel like, just getting new blood in our locker room. We're looking, we're not looking to pass. We're looking forward, and that's a big 2 months for us. Moving into the latter part of the season, and we're hoping to make big noise and get better like we've done every year in the second half.
How do you feel with a new format?
Golf? I can't play golf right now. Well, Steph Curry. Can I pick Ray Allen, even if he's retired? And then Barkley.
What's your thoughts on basketball?
Golf? I love golf. I mean, I wish I could play right now. Be it, or I can go watch it at Riviera. Go watch Tiger or somebody. So no, golf is an unbelievable sport. Wish I had more time to play.
Kevin, for what's your go-to music right now?
Go-to music. Who liked the Super Bowl halftime performance by? Oh, of course, John. Were you there?
I was there.
How was it? Was it unbelievable?
Great.
Yeah.
You did it.
No, I meant the game too. Was like, yeah.
So you're
I want to come. No, I was deflecting. Yeah. Oh, how was it? You tell me. Yeah.
Are you the best wine taster?
Yeah. Right. I'm trying.
So much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
Hey, Kevin, how hard just seeing Wayne Ellington in the three-point contest?
Right.
You've known what he's gone through, and you know Williams.
Yeah.
What do you think it means to him, and what's it like to see him ascend to this level after kind of doing this again?
Well, it's great. I'm actually really rooting for Wayne, other than being such a big fan of his, being his teammate, because we have Damon Jones on our coaching staff, who I really don't care for that much. So he's going for the Miami Heat record, single season record, I believe, in three-point field goals made. So no, I'm definitely rooting for him and keeping a close tab, because I'd love to talk some shit to Damon Jones and kind of put that in his face a little bit. So I know I love Wayne. I've always loved his family, been around him, known him since we played against each other in high school. We played with who was it? Henderson, Gerald Henderson. Thank you. I want to say David Henderson, but he works for our team. No, he's a unbelievable three-point shooter. Always had the outside shooting stroke, and I'm subtly rooting for him tonight. But also got Klay Thompson. We got a bunch of great shooters, and I'm kind of bitter too, because I would have been shooting tonight. But no, I'll definitely be rooting for him. Great kid.
What do you think of that whole phenomenon and just the assumption that if the Lakers have cap space, guys who have monetize are going to want to come here?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. This would be, and it is unbelievable place to be and live, and the culture is incredible, and it's an unbelievable host city. So I think not only that, but it has a ton of layers to it. Having that aura around it of being the Lakers, and having that tradition of excellence here as a franchise, and always being a big time, the second biggest media market in the U.S. So it's one of those places where if you can make a name for yourself, you can make a name for yourself anywhere. And I think that's always going to be the case. That's never going to change. And LA is an unbelievable place to be. But I think the same. That's going to remain to be said with all the top free agents for as long as the NBA is around, as long as LA is a great city, which it always will be.
Kevin, how hard it is to adapt to so many changes in the roster in the season, to see friends, teammates come and go in such a short amount?
Yeah, you just realize it's part of it's a business, and I think I would have been much more affected by it probably in my first couple or few years in the league. But now it's tough to see guys go, but in some situations they're really going to be able to shine and do better. And the same with guys coming in and playing for us as well. So you never know how it's gonna work out. You just have to pray for the best.
You see last finals roster, and it's just 5 guys remaining from there. Is it weird for you? I mean,
The 4 or is it 5?
I think it's 5.
Help me out. 5? Okay. Yeah, no, it's crazy to see. There's been a lot of turnover, but a number of guys that we've also still, outside of that, been through battle with, and a lot of familiar faces. But there was a lot of changeover. I mentioned it was, I won't say unprecedented, but almost at the trade deadline, especially on that last day. And it was, I think, having newer, younger guys in there that will be able to help our team for the future is going to be big.
LeBron was talking about fast tracking that learning process for the new guys. Is that something you can really do, or how can you help fast track that?
I think just all getting on the same page, and that's going to be with time spent more than anything. I think these, like you mentioned, these last 2 months of the season are going to be huge for us. I think there's a number of guys out here this weekend that are going to be able to get together, even just to spend time and get familiar with one another is big. But for me, it's just continue to stay vocal, always being around, make sure I'm on the road trips, because even when I'm not playing, I need to be there and be one of the leaders for this team.
Kevin, you're one of those stretch fours that kind of changed the style of play in the NBA, and there's a lot of teams trying to play like Houston does, like Golden State does. Do you think there's more teams trying to do that really don't have the personnel? It became sexy, or no? It's the right way to go.
I just think it's a lot of the time now you're seeing positionless basketball, and all that. All those positions are kind of thrown out the window when you have so many guys that can be a triple threat or play different positions, defend different positions. So it kind of you kind of just see it, and there's kind of positions out there, or if you can't shoot from the outside, or you can't stretch the floor and open up a lane for somebody, you really have to. Trying to find a way to be effective.
Last one from I heard you're the wine connoisseur of the team.
I don't know how I got marked as that, but I do drink wine. We're a team that drinks a lot of wine, brings a lot of wine on the road. But if you're going to talk wine, go talk to Coach Pop. He knows he knows a little bit more than I do.
I'm Argentinian. What do you think about Argentina?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yes, I actually I've enjoyed quite a bit of wine from there. So it's very nice. What's up, Joe? Dave? Update on my hand? I started running a couple days ago. I got through the 2-week threshold. I think I told Dave in Boston that I'll be out of this removable cast or splint, if you will, after week 4. And then from there, I'll be able to, maybe handle the ball a little bit more, grip the basketball a little bit more. But I think that's pretty much all the update I know. And then from there, just kind of get X-rays and see where it heals from there.
Kevin, Damon Jones, our coaching staff, has always been very confident and cocky.
Oh my God.